taken my ammo random.
Hello guys, how are we doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be covering some movement changes that may be coming, hopefully before MW3 rank play drops. There was basically an interview between a content creator and Sledge Hammer Games, and they spoke about a bunch, but today I'm just going to be covering the things that they mentioned about movement in this shorter video of mine. Before we get into that, I just wanted to apologise for my voice. I've got a bit of a man flu, a bit of a cold. Nothing too serious, but I just wanted to, give you guys forewarning that you may have to crank the volume a little bit if I'm a little bit quiet. But hey, at least it's a bit of variety in my voice. It makes it less boring, I guess. Yeah, and also the gameplay watching here was an 8 lobby, basically a 4v4 private match on competitive rule set, where I absolutely shredded. The start of the game's a little bit slow for me, but if you bear with it, I do end up fine. I go 29 to 9, so it's almost a 3 KD. So yeah, I do really well, and there's some nice line of sights I do take in this for you guys to hopefully learn from for when MW3 drops. So let's get into what you're actually here for, the movement changes. So Repulize or Repulize or Repulize, or I don't know how you say the name. I'm probably going to get butchered down in the comments for that. But yeah, he basically had an interview with Sledge Hammer Games, and he was able to ask any question about the game apart from anything to do with skill-based matchmaking, because Activision pretty much blacklist you if you try and push that agenda. But there were a bunch of things talked about, including a stamina bar for the attack sprint, SMG buffs, as well as XP changes in S&D. There was a bunch of things, but the two main things that stood out to me was that they said there may be potential changes in the movement. Now, this is interesting. This is the first time post-launch a developer has been willing to change movement this drastically. So one thing that was asked about was bunny hopping. Now, just to be clear, just to define bunny hopping for you guys before we discuss it, bunny hopping is not where you are jumping continuously. Although that sort of sounds like what bunny hopping should be, that's not what it is. Bunny hopping, if you played MW19, if you played Vanguard, Cold War didn't have it, nor did MW2 last year. Neither of those had it. It's basically where if you strafe jumped to the side and then timed another jump perfectly after you landed, or perfectly as you landed, you'd get a decent amount of momentum propel you forwards on that jump. So it'd be a nice little jump that basically allowed you to challenge a corner in a different way. It's another way from sliding or strafe around the corner. You could pretty much bunny hop around a corner, and it was another way for enemies to get cameraed by you, and it's nice. So they have said that there are potential changes to this. It may be coming. It is something they're looking at, and I am very excited for this. For me, we don't get CODs where the developers are willing to add movement, add a skill gap to games. So I'm more than happy to ram it all into this COD. We've got slide cancelling, we've got increased health, we've got red dots on the minimap. Why not add bunny hopping? Now, there's a bunch of people I've seen in Twitter, or X, whatever you guys want to call it now, Twitter replies saying, I see people do this all the time, jumping is absolutely fine. People are jumping like 12 times in a row, there's no need to implement bunny hopping. That's different. If you're jump shotting, that's fine. That's not an advanced mechanic. That's literally just spamming A button. It's really not a skill to utilize. Bunny hopping is something you have to master. It comes naturally to a lot of us who've played games in which bunny hopping's involved in before. But bunny hopping is a nicely timed double jump that propels you in a momentum that is unlike anything else in the game. It's not a normal jump. So yeah, I'm intrigued by that. I hope it comes into fruition. If we see one like Vanguard's bunny hopping, I'll be very excited. And MW19's bunny hopping was almost just as good, to be fair. So I'm up for that. But again, what do you guys think? Are you interested in bunny hopping whatsoever? Do you think there's enough movement in the game already? Do you think bunny hopping would increase the skill gap? Let me know your thoughts about the situation, because it's always interesting to hear other perspectives about the game. The second thing they mentioned was, I think pretty much after the interview, they mentioned the fact that snaking's pretty much baking any competitive integrity with regards to head glitching. Now, snaking, if you're new to the competitive scene, all it really is you lay down and then sprint forward, lay down, sprint forward, and it basically makes it so that you get a decent amount of vision over a head glitch for a decent amount of time, whereas the enemy, from their perspective, can barely see you. It's a way to get really free intel and get shots on enemies first, pretty much before they've seen you. So it's pretty broken. It's a broken mechanic. It was banned, so pros and professionals couldn't use it in competitive rule set. It was GA. There was a gentleman's agreement to say you can't do that, but pretty much after MW2, sorry, where there was near to zero movement technical abilities, whatever you guys want to call that, they basically said it was okay for that. It's followed through to here, so we're seeing a lot of snake in here, and it is broken. But what they have said, getting to the point now, I'm blabbering on, I apologise. What they have said is that they are going to be looking into this. Now, this is interesting. I, for one, do not like snaking. It's a mechanic that is in its entirety broken. It does take skill to do it. I gotta admit, it does take a little bit of precision to do it, so it does add a skill gap in it being a thing. But it's not fun, it's not competitive. On S&D Terminal, for example, on this map right here, you get someone top S skis, pretty much snaking that thing. It's impossible to tear them off it. Honestly, it's almost impossible. If they're doing it well, it's impossible to tear them off it, but they're getting there all the info in the world by doing so. And it's just not fun. It's just not the way COD should be played, and I don't think it should be a thing. So I'm happy that they're nerfing it. I'm not sure how they're going to be doing it. In Cold War a few years ago, they basically made it so that you could do it twice, and then there was like a stamina wear-off sort of thing where you couldn't do it for any longer than that. And if you tried to crouch and stand up rapidly, you just couldn't. It was really slow, and it made you just not want to do it at all, because the 2 times you wanted to do it needed to be the 2 times you meant to do it, and it meant that after that you just simply couldn't do it. So it just made the mechanic broken, and people just didn't use it. That needs to happen here. It won't fix it in its entirety. It won't solve the issue because people will still do it, but it will hopefully deter anyone from doing it, because it will add a penalty to their movement. So yeah, again, what do you guys think? Are you a fan of that? What else do you want to see? So what else do you want to see? That's my next point. I've sort of skipped ahead a bit there in that one little sentence, but realistically, there has been very little other than jetpacks, other movement in COD games. You've got snaking, obviously. You've got bunny hopping. You've got slide cancelling. What other mechanics are there, or there have been in a Call of Duty, other than jetpacking, obviously, that you'd like to see in this game? For me, I think an interesting one. I don't think it's right for this game. I think this game's a little bit too current, like in the time era it's set. But a little boost, like a strafe, like I don't know what you want to call it, like a boost. Like if you're strafing, you can push a button and it like pumps you sideways a little bit. That'd be nice. Similar to what they have in Halo. So yeah, what are your ideas? What do you think they should implement into a game? Maybe not this one, but one going forward. So yeah, they're my thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And that is obviously the video. We 100-point clubbed them, the poor guys. Apparently they didn't really know rotations, which is fair enough. It was super early in the game still. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the gameplay, and I shall catch you in the next one. Ciao for now.
That underbar.
Don't know.